in. Okay, awesome. So we're on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and we'll see. And YouTube. Don't forget YouTube. Can't forget YouTube. Um, yeah, it's been a while. Honestly, it's the last couple of weeks ever since our product launch on September 28th. I have been swamped with both opportunities and interesting news, which I will be releasing in the next week or so. So some really exciting things coming out in the next week. I think a lot of people who've been following me for a while know a lot about my story, and if you're new to seeing me on the interwebs, then this is going to be a fun one because, like I said, a lot of exciting things are happening in the world of me. And I want to hear from other people as well because hopefully I'm not the only one going through significant growth and changes right now. Um, but let's just do this because I feel weird with having a TikTok up there and like having to jump between ones. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get that all situated. How are we doing this today? How are we doing this today, team? Let's do something like this. Awesome. I'm pumped. I'm really excited because I wanted to actually dedicate this live to talking about live streaming, or not live streaming, because you guys probably can understand how to live stream. If you don't know how to do that, just message me and I'll show you the software I use and help you with that. But today we're on lead generation. I do think by far this is one of my favorite conversations to have because it's actually where I've been spending probably 95% of my time in the last couple of weeks has been spent around how do you actually generate more leads for your business, for your organization, nonprofit? How do you actually get into the ecosystem of the people that you're trying to reach, whether that's on LinkedIn or TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Medium, Pinterest, Twitter, whatever platform that is, there are ways and mechanisms to actually get more people. Whether it is, it just spans the gamut because you better than yourself, and you're looking for something right now. Whether it's a sale for your business, whether it's money for your nonprofit, whether it's to support a specific candidate. Guys, we're not going to go political in this live, and if you're watching this post live, we're not going to get political in this conversation. But there are causes, businesses, ideas, thoughts that you have that you deem as important, and the worst thing that can happen, in my opinion, is if you don't have the mechanisms to get that out there and get that out there in a sustainable way. That's right for you and for those that let's just see, boom, boom, boom. Just make sure we're live all over the place. And that's it. It's really boils down to the conversation of lead generation. It often gets misconstrued with like super salesy practices of like people pushing and pushing you to like buy something when you're not like the target market or whatnot. I want to bring a new light to it because at the end of the day, all lead generation really boils down to, like, I'll be honest, what it really boils down to is just getting your message in front of the right people and then having them decide if they want to ask more questions, they don't want to have that conversation. I think the best thing that happens is when you send out a message to a group of people. Some people will never respond. That's the majority of people. Some people will say, hey, I'm not a good fit for this right now. And then some people say, hey, I'm open to chatting more about this. And that's kind of like the best part of the journey is like there are people right now in the world, whether it's like professionally or personally, that want to hear the thoughts that you have around the topics that you want to talk about. And that's why I love the internet so much, because you can do this frankly at scale, which in my opinion is the best, because like why not get your message out there? What's up, Becca? Becca, you are crushing it. Hopefully all every time I see you on Insta, I'm just like, hey, that's my friend. Also, by the way, if you aren't connecting with everyone in the chat, whether on TikTok or all the other platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook, please make sure you do that because we're all an interesting community. And yeah, so basically that's the why behind the lead generation. Now it's kind of like, how do I get that started? And again, please feel free to ask questions. I've invested hundreds of hours up until this point, last couple weeks, learning the best practices. So like it always starts with the foundation, which takes the longest. The next phase up, like how do you actually apply that? That becomes a lot easier. What's up, Caitlin? I've missed you. You kind of missed what I talked about earlier in the live, but yeah, long story short, last 2 weeks have been a lot, and I'll actually be announcing on either Friday or Monday what's been going on with me. Because at this point I can't really share it, but we'll definitely let the cat out of the bag as soon as I can. Trust me, you guys. I don't want to say my internet friends, but everyone who's connected with me, I like to keep uh, my book open because like I don't really believe in like I don't want to say secrets, but like I think life is too short. I like that people know what I'm up to. That's what I'm kind of talking about lead generation right now because I've switched the business to now focusing purely on lead generation. We paused writing books. We've started really investing into a direct to consumer brand around a very specific thing. So I'll just put this here for those who have been following me for a while. You know how much I love coffee. So we've been investing heavily in a direct-to-consumer coffee brand. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff. I think they're cool. You might be like, Nico, that's kind of lame, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. I'm not here to judge. But I like that people know what I'm doing and up to. There's no like I think life is too short to have all these like secrets. So I like sharing it in this specific piece of dude, you gotta drink. So this is for all my coffee enthusiasts. This is a delicious Rwandan blend. As you can, I don't know, TikTok, you can see it a lot better. You see the like creamy red or creamy, what is it? Creamy brown color, and I'll do the same one over here. Yeah, see that? Like that's oh, it looks like it has the same consistency as like or a look and feel as like a nice uh like milk chocolate. Like if you get chocolate milk and like put it in, it has the same like kind of texture to it. So it's great. It's the last little bit I had in this Rwandan one, so it's delicious to say the least. But yeah, like I said, lead generation has been a really interesting focus because it's the first like paid customer acquisition strategy that I've been doing. So if you have any questions on that, and by the way, on TikTok, guys, if you don't follow Caitlin, she's a master marketer as well. I don't say that lightly. She has a very intuitive mind with this type of stuff. Caitlin, text me after this because I want to actually catch up with you. See how life is doing over there. But anyway, like I said, today is a very simple live. We're going to be on for like 10, 15 more minutes. The goal is very simple in this conversation is let's talk, number one, the reason I was kind of gone, which we kind of talked about, which was, busy 2 weeks, pivoting the company, some internal news that I will share very quick, either Friday or Monday. So we kind of talked about that. Lead generation and direct to consumer coffee brands. So that's been fun. We're coming up with a new brand around that because we had one, it wasn't really working out. So now we're kind of pivoting that. So that's really exciting. But yeah, again, my lives and my conversations and every piece of content that I put out, I want to prioritize one thing, which is like I want to leave you guys better than I found you. So please, if you have any questions or anything, I'm going to keep talking. I can talk for days, but make sure if you have questions about content creation, lead generation, marketing, we can take this conversation anywhere. I titled it Lead Gen, or I'm Back, depending on the platform that you're on. So more than happy to discuss. I just want to leave everyone that watches my content a little bit better than I found them. But really, really, it boils down at the end of the day to whatever medium or mechanisms that you use, guys. You have to be putting out messages. I know everyone says this. Every marketer has said this. You have to be putting messages out there. You got to be proactively using social media. We are coming into a very interesting time in the U.S. where the election's coming up. So there's going to be a lot of. Let's look at the stock market today. Let's see. So it's kind of it's back up a little bit, but it's going to be fluctuating quite a bit. A lot of uncertainty. I know 600,000 people filed first time unemployment last week. So like we're a very interesting time, and I think the reason I want to prioritize people really putting themselves out there right now is whether you are wanting to find a new job, and there's a couple of people that I know have gone through that process. I'm not going to call them out because you know a little privacy with that. But with that being said, like there are people looking for jobs. The internet is a fantastic place to look and use that. There are people looking to make more sales from their handcraft, necklaces or glass blown vases or vases, depending how you kind of phrase that. There are people who want more clients for their marketing agencies, like myself. Like that's why I only like to talk about things I'm doing. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of producing a lot of content and doing that at scale, much like Gary Vee and everyone like that. But I mean, the thing I always, the people who watch me on live, you guys are a very interesting dynamic because you tend to be the ones that follow me a little bit more closely, watch my content a little bit more, apply the lessons that I put out. And that excites me because the world is too short or the world is very unique, yet there are simple mechanisms and principles that always stay the same. One of those is proactive messaging. That used to be putting out content on something like the newspaper or radio. Now it's shifted to digital. And like I said, I'm it's funny because I'm playing in the B2B space with my marketing agency, but I'm also playing in the B2C space with a direct to consumer coffee brand. So like I'm seeing it both ways. And granted, you have to use different mechanisms and you have to use different. I think we did. There we go. Weird. Okay, I refreshed my live stream on the other platforms, and I was like, "Huh, that's hopefully that didn't shut down." But oh yeah, it did shut down. Well, that's unfortunate. That's why TikTok's a great little platform because it's streaming to. That's weird. That is weird. I refreshed it and it went away. Well, that's unfortunate for everyone there. Anyway, um, let's talk what I'm most excited about. I think that's something too. When you're in the industry, whatever industry you're in, you're going to inevitably find like one or two things that really stand out. Like I said, I've been obsessed with direct outreach campaigns. So not necessarily running ads, but running like sequencing like message outreach on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. There's a lot that's been pretty interesting to me because I think there's a lot of ways to segment your audience and then invest resources, i.e., time and content, to like really get to know that person. Because Caitlin's a great example on TikTok too. It's like she has a pretty great I know we follow each other on LinkedIn, Caitlin. I don't know how many followers you have, but you do diversify your content and you are in different platforms. And that's what I want for most people is like diversification for sure. But the goals are very simple, right? Like it's very simple, and social is a great little tool to make that happen. What is this question? Let's see what YouTube is saying. With social, do you still need a website? Oh, that's great. That's a great question. So, should you still have a website during COVID? Or that's not the question. Should you still have a website even if you're primarily on social media? The answer is yes. And Caitlin, you need to be putting all your TikToks on Instagram Reels. Guys, I live and swear by that, especially in the mornings. So whatever, because you're in Texas, so make sure that you get that done like 7 or 8 a.m. your time. The question is, do you still need a website? Do you still need a website when everyone's going on social? The answer is yes. I still think that guys, SEO still works. Google AdWords still works for new brands, like for this direct to consumer brand. I've explored actually with both B2B marketing and B2C marketing. I have explored the intricacies behind Google AdWords, SEO. It's so much easier for intentional users to find direct solutions on something like YouTube or not YouTube, on Google. And I say Google, but there are people who use Firefox, DuckDuckGo, Safari, but primarily most people are on Google. So that's why I'm going to keep this conversation and website focused on Google. There's no question that intentional buyers will be there Googling you. And social is great for people who might have an inkling of an idea. Maybe your anniversary is coming up and you don't know what that perfect gift is. Socials might be a great mechanism to get inspiration. I always think about Instagram Explorer page or Pinterest, right? And maybe you find something you really like, it's a good price point, you can just click there and go buy it. But you can also type in best anniversary gifts 2020 and on Google, and you can come up with a ton of interesting recommendations from people or direct websites selling stuff. So do you still need a website? Yes. And same with Caitlin. I have getboundlessmedia.com. I have a lot of actually URLs, but I have nicothebrain.com. I think there's actually the two, and then the direct-to-consumer one has one. But I mean, yes. Do you the answer? I kind of went long form with that. Is do you still need a website even if you're mostly on social media? Let me just refresh this. Great question though. Interesting. We're going into a website conversation, which is because, and I'll be very upfront. I am not the most knowledgeable. Like when you're a marketer, you have to know a lot about a lot of things. So like I have experience with many things, but the question is, how do I get better traffic for a website? I'm thinking probably again, not knowing what your website specifically is. Is it selling something? Is it a blog? Is it whatever it is? I don't have the context on like what your website is. But if I had to say, again, I'm a content guy. I'm always like, put out great pieces of content, whether it's your product, your service, your journey, whatever that is, your opinions, whatever that is. Make sure that you're posting a blog. I recommend a blog a week, and there are ways to scale it. One quick tip for anyone is there's a website called Otter, like the animal, .io. Let me just make sure. Yes, .ai. So otter.ai. When I do conversations with people and they ask me interesting questions, I have the website pulled up. So as soon as I say it, I can actually press the button and it will auto transcribe my words. And it has like 600 minutes free a month. And I love it because when I'm done answering the question, I can stop it and copy and paste that segment and put it into Grammarly, fix it up, and then I can actually put it as a blog. So it's a great way to actually get real valuable content without having to set aside hours and hours of content creation to come up with this concept. So great idea for content there. Otherwise, there's backlinks. So be a guest blogger on someone else's page. You can pay for AdWords, get ranked up a little bit higher, optimize your website. Again, use social media to drive people from places like Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube back to your website. And definitely make sure that you're capturing emails. That's the guys, like if you don't have a mechanism to capture emails or phone numbers, it's so expensive both in time and energy. Hey, good morning. To get someone to your website. Once they're there, make it seamless for them to stay in contact with you. Like if you can get a phone number and email from someone who comes to your website, like you can potentially retarget them for a course that you're selling, or keep them in the loop when a new blog comes out. You can build a lot of great momentum by prioritizing capturing people's pieces of contact information. So that is, I'm actually going to cut it here in about a minute or two. There's no other questions. Great. Actually, and that's why I like lives, because you never know where they're going to end up going. Like this, we talked about the journey, lead gen, and the websites, which I think is always fun. So everywhere else on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, I'm going to cut you guys there. Have a good rest of your day. Direct message me if you